Irish author Colm Tóibín has a way of presenting his novel Brooklyn without the colour, action and pizzazz one would normally expect from a great story. He perhaps gives his readers a more honest view of life in the 1950s, his understated approach clearly proving that beauty, inspiration and emotion can still be found in the ordinary and mundane. Captured through the eyes of his protagonist Eilish Lacey, the story of Brooklyn is portrayed entirely from her perspective. It is presented in 4 parts, representing the 4 stages of Eilish's young life. The first part represents her life in County Wexford, where she is blissfully unaware of an existence beyond what she already knows. Happy to continue as she always has, drifting along, content in the knowledge that her life will meander along the same path as her mother's, hoping to eventually fall in love, marry and take care of her own family, all within the comfortable and familiar surrounds and streets of the only place she has ever known, Enniscorthy. However, things change significantly for Eilish when the charismatic Irish-American priest Father Flood comes to dinner and convinces her mother and her older, somewhat controlling sister Rose of the amazing opportunities a life in America might offer Eilish, particularly in his own parish of Brooklyn. Suddenly, Eilish's world is thrown into disarray as arrangements are made for her departure, leaving her anxious and unable to sleep, caught up in a roller coaster of emotions which take her from the heights of excitement to the depths of despair. Around her, her mother and sister circle, getting on with their lives as though nothing is about to change. Her mother, clearly heartbroken at losing yet another child to emigration, yet too proud to reveal her disappointment and sadness. And Eilish herself, a young girl on the cusp of womanhood, not yet confident enough to tell them that perhaps she does not want to go. This is not just Eilish's story. It is the story of the many thousands of immigrants, displaced from their homes and families after World War II, and in order to survive, forced to seek new lives, often on the other side of the world away from all they know and love. It is the story of mixed emotions and of lives torn apart, of hearts that refuse to leave home even when bodies have no choice. It is also very much the story of those left behind. In part 2, the reader sees Eilish struggling to create a new life for herself in Brooklyn, a place that has no history and no meaning for her. It is a story that reveals itself as much in the words said as in the words unsaid, a story full of silences and secrets, as Eilish's only connections to home are through letters that tell her nothing much at all. She finds herself deeply depressed and misses Enniscorthy desperately. She has a job at Pawtucke's department store, which keeps her occupied during the day, but of an evening she's seen to wallow in her room, refusing to mix with the other Irish girls who reside alongside her at Mrs. Keogh's. Ultimately, she is her own worst enemy, her antisocial tendencies bringing about a loneliness that sees her spiral into a dark place she can see no escape from, a nervous breakdown Father Flood describes as homesickness. In part 3, Eilish's life begins to turn around as she enrolls in a bookkeeping course at night school, is assigned a nicer room in the boarding house, volunteers at Father Flood's Christmas dinner for the Forgotten Irishmen, and attends the Friday night Irish dances in the parish hall, where she meets boyfriend Tony Fiorello and is welcomed into the folds of his Italian immigrant family. Tony helps her to see the good things about Brooklyn, taking her to the movies, a Dodgers game and Coney Island. He falls deeply in love with Eilish, and Eilish, recognizing his kindness and his unwavering commitment to her, wants desperately to love him back. She sees him as the perfect boyfriend in every way, and he makes her truly happy. But inside she does not feel the deep love he feels for her. She cares for him deeply, and may learn to love him in time, and she knows she does not want to lose him. So when she is recalled back to Ireland to visit with her grieving mother after the shocking death of her sister Rose, she agrees to secretly marry Tony as a sign of her loyalty and her commitment to return to him. The final part of Brooklyn sees Eilish settle back into her old life in Enniscorthy and begin to fall in love with local Irishman Jim Farrell, which in turn sees her caught between two worlds, two love interests, and the potential for two very different futures. One back in Brooklyn with her now husband Tony, and the other in Enniscorthy with Jim and her mother and her friends. In the end, secrets are revealed and she is compelled to return to Brooklyn, leaving the reader to decide whether or not she's made the right choice, and perhaps whether or not she will ever find a place where she can fully belong.